Hey there. Today's lesson we're going to focus in on one of the great fiddle tunes, Old Joe Clark. It's one of the classic tunes, and this version is similar to how Tommy Jarrell played. We're going to be focusing in on a couple of different bowing techniques, which I'll go over in detail, and this is just a really fun version of a great tune. So there's lots to dig in here that'll be helpful for tons of other tunes too. So let's get into it. All right, I'll play the tune a couple times round just to get us started. Okay, so the foundation of this tune is a couple of different bowing patterns. The first thing, I'm going to call it a dig. I don't know what other people call it, but it's this little pattern that goes down and then dig with your bow, kind of like a big scoop. So the motion is kind of like... So on the up bow, we sort of rock onto the E string if we're starting on the A string. A. So just try that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah. You can start on both strings. So I call that a dig, and so whenever I say dig, that's what I'm talking about there. The next one is just excellent syncopated bowing rhythm, which is phrased in 3. So it's 1 beat down, 2 beats up. Down, up, and down, up, and down, up, and down, up, and... for the most part, in this tune, it's just 2 times that we'll do it. So that's the rhythm there. Da, 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 and da, 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 and. Often it'll be squared off to kind of create an 8-beat phrase. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, and then starting again. So we can do that by doing down, up, and separate. So that's our second element, and I'm just going to call that our 3-phrased bowing, or down, up, up. Of course, we're not separating it. We're not doing down, up, up. It's down, up, and down, up, and. So maybe I'll say down, up, and. Our third element is, particularly with this kind of round peak style of North Carolina fiddling that Tommy Jarrell was a part of, the anticipation is a big part of that. So very often the phrases start before the beat does. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1. So it's on the and right before 1. So that's the third element really that we've got to keep in mind, is that a lot of these phrases start before the first beat. Ba ba dun da. This tune is an A, but we're going to have our second finger on the G natural on the E string. So it's kind of like it's in a Mixolydian mode, which means that it's an A major scale, but with a flatted seventh. That's a little bit of technical jargon. You don't have to pay attention to that. All you need to know is that the G is not a G sharp, it's a G natural. So that's the scale that we're going to be using for this tune mostly. Of course, it's pretty bluesy, so we're kind of sliding around a little bit too. Okay, so let's get into learning this tune phrase by phrase. So let's start with the first phrase. We've got a dig starting on the A. And then we have second finger on the note G. 2, 1 open on the E string. Dig. 2, 1 open. So from here, 2, 1 open, 1 open, across to the A string. 3, 2, open. Okay, and then we're going to do our down, up, and bowing. Dig, separate, separate, down, up, and down, up, and. Okay. So that's our first phrase there. Second phrase starts anticipated, and we're going to start out the same way with a dig. 2, 1, 3, slurred, and then open, E, dig. So it's dig, 2, separate, slur, open, dig. Slur. Okay, so let's have a listen to those two phrases together. The first phrase we have dig, 2, okay, so remember our down, up bowing. Down, up, and anticipated. Dig. Okay, our third phrase is going to be exactly the same as the first phrase. So we're getting one for free there. Third phrase. And then we're going to anticipate the very last phrase. This is the fourth phrase, which is the ending, which is 2, 1 open. So 2, 1 open, 2, 1 open. It's kind of a slide on the third finger on the D string, and then open A, or fourth finger if you can. 2, 1 open, 2, 1 open, 3 open. And we're going to do our down, up, and bowing there. So separate, and separates at the end there. So anticipated, 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, that's the whole A part we've got there. So let's just try it again from the beginning. First phrase. Second phrase. Third phrase, which is the same as the first phrase. And the ending. All together. A part. Nice one. Okay, on to the B part. We're going to start the B part with a unison A, if you can. Now, I'm playing this tune in standard tuning. Oftentimes, people will tune up their violin to cross A, which means tuning their G string to an A and their D string to an E, which you can do if you like, but for ease of access, I'm just playing this in standard tuning today. So we're going to start off with a unison fourth finger and open A. If you're in cross, then that would be the third finger. And if you can't get a unison, that's fine. Just do it on the open A and the open E. Like that. So, the first thing we're going to do is, of course, an anticipation and a dig. Okay, great. And then, it's kind of like a phrase from the A part there. We've got open 1, open on the E string, and then 3, 2, open on the A string. And we're going to do our down, up, and bowing there. Okay, that's the first phrase. Dig, down, up, and down, up, and. Okay, and we're going to keep that down, up, and bowing going here for the second phrase. So we've got 2, 1, open, 2, 1, open, third finger with a little bit of a slide if you can, and then landing on first finger on the D string with separate bows. We've got down, up, and down, up, and third, 1. Okay, that's our second phrase. First phrase. Second phrase. Okay, the third phrase is very similar to the first phrase, but we're going to start off with 2 lots of just regular shuffle bow. So that's long, short, short, long, short, short. And then we'll go into the phrase as we know it. Open 1, open, 3, 2, open, with our down, up, and bowing. So that's our third phrase there. And then, fourth phrase, the very last phrase, is the same ending as we did in the A part. So you get one for free there. You didn't know that you'd learned the whole tune already, but there you go. Ending 2, 1, open, 2, 1, open with our down, up, and bowing. 3, open A. Like this. Okay, so let's go over those 4 phrases for the B part. We've got let's try that again. Let's go over those 4 phrases for the B part. First phrase. Second phrase. Third phrase. Last phrase, ending. Okay, and all together. All right, and remember that a lot of those phrases are anticipated. Let's have a listen. Okay, let's hear the whole tune together. So, let's play the whole tune. Repeat. B. Alright, Old Joe Clark. I think there's lots in there to work on, so let me know how you go.